What is up, mice living in my walls? It's Mr. Fritchie Boy, and you know what it is. We got Bloomburrow here. Magic gets fluffy and furry. If I can open the pack. Extra tough packs. I can appreciate that. So this for me was a very, very cool set. I didn't get to open it as much as I would like to, because I remember looking at all the previews, and there's very few rats that I actually wanted for my rat deck, and that was like the only creature type specifically I cared about. But I definitely missed out on the limited. I think this would be a fun set to do a draft or a box brawl or something with all the different creature types that are all unique. I don't think we'll see tribal support for mice ever again. It's pretty crazy how one set in such a big standard rotation can affect the meta. As if you don't know, standard was ruled by mice. Mono, red-white mice. It was possible to get turn 2 kills with that double striking mouse, and the perfect setup wasn't that crazy or unheard of. So pretty insane that just a new modern set is so pushed nowadays that you're able to spawn a new archetype that's actually relevant and takes over a whole format. Thankfully it was just standard. Return target bat, lizard, rat, or squirrel from your graveyard to your hand. Nice, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's nice that it doesn't enter tap. Kind of like that. Kind of free in a monocolor any of those creature types deck. Gift a card seems like a cool mechanic. I like the idea that you can help an opponent out to get more bonus effects. It's really nice in Commander because you can use it for a lot of political stuff. Ooh, we got a Squirrel Warlock, 2 mana, 2/2 Death Touch. Tap until end of turn. You may cast a creature card from your graveyard by foraging in addition to its other costs. If you cast a spell this way, the creature enters with a finality counter on it. To forage, exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food. If a creature... okay. Yeah, so it comes back with 1 final life, and the extra cost is by exiling 3 cards or sacking a food. Not bad. I like it. I kind of like the new tap to reanimate more from the Edges of Eternity, but that seems pretty damn good, pretty equal. Foil, we got a herbalist, a rabbit. What is your favorite creature type from Bloomburrow? Were you a big mouse lover, big otter lover, frogs? For me, I thought frogs and otters were the cutest, but understand if you like the other fluffy ones. I like mice too, but they play so different than rats that it's kind of weird for me to wrap my head around. You can draw cards, and if you promise a gift, a fish. So you give your opponent a 1/1 fish, so pretty worthless commander. You can tap a creature and put a stun counter on it. Nice, that's kind of cool. A little overcosted. Mana fixer, filter lane. So how would I fix modern Magic, at least standard, to revitalize it? Or to just kind of fix modern Magic, not specifically standard, because I don't really care about that. To fix modern Magic, I would lower how many sets are coming out. 6 sets is too much. It's always perpetual hype. We're always getting previews, spoilers. You're always having to upgrade your decks. And you may say you don't have to, but just because you don't interact with the game doesn't mean the game doesn't interact with you. Meaning the power crept stronger cards you'll be facing, they'll be showing up even if you don't get them. So in a way, if you want to keep playing, you need to keep up, and it's pretty tiring. It's a lot. It's a little too much. While I do like all the variety and new sets coming out, I think it's causing them cut corners. So first thing I would do, this is a cool little anthem. I like the art too. Is I would drop from 6 sets a year to 4. I think 4 is a good number. I think that's not too many. You can take your time and still have plenty of stuff out there for people. I really like this card. enchant a creature food, it's a colorless, enchanted permanent is a colorless food and loses all other abilities. If you know me, you know I always love ways to take out commanders or problematic creatures without killing them. Unless it's exile, because if you're just killing it or bouncing it, it's just kind of temporarily dealing with it. Especially against graveyard decks that they can just return that shit. So drop down to 4 sets would be a good move. For me, I would have to say 1 Universe Beyond set per year is enough. That's plenty. And then they can market it as more desirable. Wizards of the Coast, they could have companies kind of bid for what they're getting, you know, instead of having to pay for IPs. You know, they've shown it can generate revenue. It's profitable. It's good for both universes, Magic, and whatever other IP they're doing. This is a really cute, cool card. But yeah, so they now I think have a little more power with it. Ooh, Scavenger's Talent. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control die, create a food token. This only triggers once each turn. That's already really nice. Level 2, whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target opponent mills 2 cards. That's whatever. Beginning your end step, you may sacrifice 3 other non-land permanents. If you do, return a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter. Nice. Kind of like mode 1 the most, but mode 3 is pretty good. Yeah, I guess if you're a graveyard deck, mode 2 is not too bad either. Nice. Usually, you don't want to be sacrificing and graveyard. That's kind of 2 different archetypes, but there is some overlap there. Yeah, 1 Universe Beyond set, I think, would be the move. You know, you need to build up your game's lore, your history, and long-term value to your game. You know, you can't just rely on outside IPs always. Because eventually that's going to run out. You know, eventually your game itself is going to crumble because there is no lore for itself. In my opinion. Ooh, this is a hit. We got the Frog Wizard. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card. Pay 2. Return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yes. This is definitely a good hit from the set. And now this is a all-star and blink decks. When he enters, create a treasure if opponent has more lands. If opponent has more life, you get 4 life. If they have more creatures, you get 2 1/1 fish. Draw a card if opponent has more cards in hand than you. Does a million things if you're behind. With Commander, though, it checks for multiple players, so that's killer cool. Killer good. Hell yeah. Some pretty good pulls so far. Stay somewhat organized for my own sake. But I think just doing those 2 things would help with Magic long-term and short-term. I think you could put more into your sets, you're going to do better with your sets. Sadly, with the release of Final Fantasy becoming the most profitable Magic set of all time within 1 day of sales of 200 million, it took Lord of the Rings 6 months. You know, with it selling 200 million in 1 day, compared to Lord of the Rings taking 6 months to do that, shows Universes Beyond is here to stay. Love it or hate it, the people buy it, and it's very profitable. They would never stop it. But maybe we could get lucky and they can drop it to one a year, or we'll all of a sudden stop buying it in a couple of years and they'll switch back. Both works for me. Hopefully one of those happens sooner than later. We got a Rat Rogue, 2 mana, Threshold. So if you got 7 more cards in your graveyard, you can activate it, pay 2 mana, put a counter on it, and draw a card. That's kind of dope. Probably not good enough for my Rat deck, but just a pay to draw, no limit per turn, that might be good enough for my Rat deck. Offspring, dope-ass mechanic. Just a discard card, but if you control rats or Veil too. That's really fun. I really like this art. This is sick as hell. Probably can't play it though. My discard deck and my rat deck have very little overlap. 2 different decks. But there's a couple of rats in my discard deck. Yeah, I think they would do better if they slowed down and let people breathe and appreciate their hard work more with the sets. Standard, I think, probably has way too long of a rotation now. It's too many sets. It kind of forces every new set to be more power crept exponentially to keep up with the rotation, because you have so many sets to pull cards from now for Standard, the second biggest format after Commander. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to print more crazy shit to impact your Standard, because there's so many sets, you know? So I think that was a bad call. I do, you know, I don't like that Standard shit rotates out and you gotta be constantly upgrading by new decks. But I would rather that than having a new set that can completely change the format every time. You know, you want a little bit of change up. Sometimes a new deck will break out that combos with old cards. But a whole new deck that's all nice from one set, that's a bit much. Return 2 creature cards to their owner hand, draw a card, discard a card. I like. Not too powerful, but classic blue. Way to ping everyone from 2 and you can return creatures to your hand. That's nice. Now, that's just me. What would you guys do to fix Magic? Those are just some ideas off the top of the dome. I think, there's just too much product. I'm always like, can't keep up with it all. 2 mana, you can gift a card. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, exile it. If a gift was promised, you may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. And you can use mana of any color to cast it. Nice. I don't want to say it's overcost, but 2 black pips does make it, in a weird way, a different type of expensive. I like this token. Heaped Harvest, food artifact, enter, search for basic land, put onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. See, for me, these cards are just so nice and limited. It lets me be like, alright, I can play green plus any other color. Damn. They killed it with all these lands. They're so, not like quite beautiful, but they're really scenic. They're really aesthetically pleasing to the eye. They're all very more nature-y than a lot of ons. Alright, last pack. I want a 3-tree city, baby. Give me a real moneymaker. Bloomburrow, great. Very cool, cute set. I think maybe a tiny bit overrated, but still very flavorful, very cutesy. And I think it got a lot of people to come into Magic for an in-universe set. That's definitely one, like a small silver lining to the universes beyond, is ensures Magic's going to be here for quite a while in some shape. You know, the cards are going to change and the flavor are going to change, but at least the key mechanics are going to stick around, and you can always go back to your old cards, and you can always play like formats pre-modern, you know, to lock out all new cards. You could do like no universes beyond. You could do like just 2020 or older, make your own shit. So it's nice that there's so much variety in, but it's still going to be pretty popular for a while, at least from it, the universe beyond. Lizards kind of seem like one of the weaker tribes in this. Raccoons seem middle of the road. Frogs seem cheeky, but not that good. Otters and mice seem kind of top tier, in my opinion. Rabbits seem okay. Another heap harvest. 3-tree mascot. Oh, is this a little temptation that's going to happen? Oh my god, that is so cute. A lot of these cards definitely could get... Ooh, that's a hit. That's an uncommon hit. I love these level up cards. Yeah, but... I lost my train of thought. Oh, this guy goes pretty ham in my rat deck. He's just a better rat colony. Power crept rat colony. Star Charter, haven't seen this guy. Bat Cleric, flying, begin your end step. If you gain or lost life this turn, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature with power 3 or less from among it, put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Huh, well that's nice. I can keep, like, going off every turn. It's not bad. Body's a little weak. Cool art. Bats are seem also like just not, like they're just, bats were just kind of thrown in, and it seems like they're not really developed as like the other creature types. Oh, an equipment with a gift attachment. You can give a fish, and if it was promised, you can attach it automatically. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and loses flying. It's too heavy. It kind of sucks, but it's cool. It's cool flavor-wise. Flavor win. What do we got here? A mouse bard. This is amazing. Whisker Veil. Whisker Veil. Forerunner. 4 mana, 3/4, Valiant. Whenever Whisker Veil Forerunner becomes the target of spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, look at your top 5 cards of your library. Reveal a creature from with mana value 3 or less from among them. You may put it onto the battlefield if it's your turn. If you don't, put it onto the battlefield, put it into your hand, put the rest. Holy crap. Super cool art. Love the name. I hate that text box. That is absolute garbage. It's too many words, too convoluted. Definitely, I think they need to tighten up and stop becoming more and more like Yu-Gi-Oh! With the crazy text boxes. That's go full circle. That's another thing I would change. I would make cards a little less complicated. You can have fun new mechanics, but stop having as many words and trying to have each card outdo each other. And I would turn down the power for a few years just to bring it back. Alright, and last 2 cards. We've got a Bodyguard and a Sonar Strike. And another cool mountain. Alright, well, I like Bloomburrow a lot. I don't think, you know, you kind of need very specific stuff to be cracking them. But I think this set is very, very well done for flavor. The world building is perfect. Absolutely amazing. I love sets with no basic creature types that you always see. No elves, no humans, no goblins, none of that shit. All new shit. That's very, very appreciated. But let me know what you guys think of Bloomburrow. Despite having not too many general great hits, still a fun set in my opinion. But I gotta know what you think. Doodles!